the recording has started. Let me share my screen. So here we are in Rafi platform, and what I just did is created a new project so that we are starting from very fresh. I created this project from here. Let me go back and I can show. I created this project and now going inside this project to add the OpenShift cluster. So in the infrastructure pane in the clusters option, I can go to add a new cluster. Okay, importing a new cluster, public cloud, Red Hat OpenShift, and let me give it a name. Vision Bay private OCP cluster. Continue. Okay, and that's it. Continue. Okay, here I get the Bootstrap YAML file, which I can download and then do the kubectl apply for this. So I'll download this YAML file from here. I just ran the command here. Let's see. Okay, it's working. This is the command is executed completely, and now we can check in the Rafi console. It may take some extra seconds to reflect here. So now it is coming over here. It is in a provisioning state. It will take some time, some minutes, and then it will be provisioned.
Cool. It's done. Okay.
Yeah, this is done. It is if you see the status right, it is provisioned, healthy, and all 5 of the add-ons are there. So now we see that the cluster, right, the OpenShift cluster is now imported into the Rafi environment, and we could see it is available. It's the status is a success, healthy, and it is good to be worked on. Next part here is we will have to create a GitOps agent for this. So this agent will be deployed in the OpenShift to the GitOps section here and the GitOps agent option here. Going to the new agent, I will provide it an agent name, GitOps agent Kubernetes. So I'm selecting Kubernetes because working with OpenShift, so selecting that. Vision Bay and continue. I will be selecting the cluster over here. The cluster name will appear over here. So we have registered or imported only one cluster till yet. So this cluster is available. You can select that and save. Status we are seeing over here is activated. So this agent is created and it is activated. So it is activated in the OpenShift cluster. So this is a GitOps agent we have created. After creating the GitOps agent, we will have to configure a service account and a namespace also if we want to keep it the operations that we are performing separate. Then we can create a namespace and then a service account. So this service account, let's go to the OpenShift console. Here we will just create a project. Very simple thing, creating a project. Let me create it and let me create it. Okay, this I've created. Now I will create a service account. I'll go here in the user management service accounts and create service account. I'll just provide it a name here, Rafi. Create it. Then I'll go to role bindings, create role binding, and just create it. So this has created this role binding. So we are done with creating the service account and creating a role binding for coming to the next step, which is how are we fetching the image here, right? How are we creating the image first of all? So to create image, we have a Docker file. I can just show it quickly here. We have this Docker file. So what does this image means, right? So basically this image is, we are in this Docker file, we are packaging all of the things, packages and everything that will be required for the entire process of the orchestrate installation. So things like Podman, CPD CLI, OC CLI, right? So all of these things we are packaging it here in this Docker file along with the scripts that we want to run, and we'll be creating an image from this Docker file. So this Docker file will be residing in a GitHub, and we will be creating an image from this using OpenShift's internal registry. Now to do this, OpenShift has to access the GitHub to get to this Docker file, for which we will have to establish a connectivity between OpenShift and GitHub using SSH key pairs. So for that, we can generate the SSH key pairs like this and add the public SSH key pair in GitHub and the private one as a secret in OpenShift. So now if we see how is the image build setup working, right? If you see here this green script, right? So we have our Docker file in GitHub, and we will create a build config in OpenShift, and using that build config we will trigger a build which will create the image and push it to the OpenShift internal registry. If I go here in OpenShift, in the left hand side panel we see a section for builds. I will have to go here and then to the image streams, and I can create an image stream for here. There is a option for build config. I can go here, click on create build config, and create it. So once we do this, our build config will be created like this. On creation of build config, post that this is just we have created some resources which will help us to generate the image or doing that. Now to create the image, right, and push the image to OpenShift internal registry, we can go here to this option. Maybe let me maximize the screen. We can go here to the three dots and then start the build. Once I will start the build, a build will be started and we will be able to see the build here, like we are seeing the last one here. If working, and this image will be stored in OpenShift internal registry. It is about the setup that needs to be done in Raphe to run the workflow for the installation automation, right? So a prerequisite part to be done in Raphe is to create a config context. So config context is nothing but the key value pairs or the secrets that that will be used in throughout the installation process. All of these key value pairs, secrets, can be stored in the Raphe, which is termed as config context. So now we can go to the Raphe environment and create a config context. I can come here and go to my Raphe, and here inside the environments we can find the option for config context, and I can go to new config context, provide a name for it. I will provide OC secret for Mission Bay, and click create on it, and then we can create the environment variables. I can go here and add an environment variable. I can provide this for OC server, put a OC server here, and then I can choose. For now, let me just put any value, right? And I'm just putting any value, but the server URL has to be put here. We can choose all the values that are required to be set up for the installation. So one by one I will just set it up, and then we will proceed further. Thing is to create a workflow handler. So for that we can go here to the workflow handler option, click on create new workflow handler, provide it a name. So install workflow handler. Type we will select as a container, because this will this will run a containerized pod for us. We want it to refer an image that we will provide. So, and then we can provide the image name here. This is our image name. We can provide a CPU limit here, and the CPU limit here. Then we can provide the arguments, commands any environment variables that we want to use, any files, working directory path, all of this. Let me set the working directory path. Registry name will be this. The username and password, we have to put it as a service account, because when fetching the image from the registry, it will be using a service account that we have used. Password, we can generate for password we can generate a token for the service account that we created. So yep, so workflow handler is created now. Now in the workflow handler, I think I missed one part. Let me just correct it. So when we create the workflow handler, right, here in the container specifications, we have to mark the privileged as enabled and read-only root file system as disabled. And we can pass here the name for the namespace. So we have a namespace created. Let us pass that name and the service account name. So it is Rafe VBSA, and then save it again. So this is done. Now we will be wrapping the workflow handler in a resource template. So here we get the option for the resource template. I can do a new resource template to create one. I'll provide it a name. So install resource template, create. I'll enter a version here. Description we can enter if we want to, and I'll select the option of custom provider here because we want to add our workflow handler here. I'll go to add task here and enter a name for the task. So let me enter Synnex install task, and the task type is already selected as workflow handler. We have selected the existing workflow handler, and now when we click on this drop down, we will get the name of the created workflow handlers. For now we have one, so we will select this one, and then we will select the name of the agent. So here we are selecting the name of agent, and that's all, and let's save it. This is done, and there are other options in hooks, right, and agents and all, but we have already configured it. So in config context also we have configured in the workflow handler, so no need to add it here. And we can just save it as a draft. If we there are two options to save it, but if we select the other option, then it is not editable, so I've saved it as draft. So this is our resource template created. Now the resource template is wrapped in an environment template. So basically in the resource template, right, if I go inside this one, we get option to add multiple tasks. Like I have added one task here. I can add more tasks from here, but I've added a single task because we are running all the scripts as a single task, because we want all of the install commands to run under one containerized session. So that's where we are doing this. Now we can go to environment template. This will be wrapping the resource template that we have created. So I'll click here for new environment template, provide it a name. 1 minute. And create it, provide it a version. I'm providing it a version same to the resource template. You can provide it a display name, description, icon, URL, that will be creating an icon, right, and what all labels and everything. For now, let me just provide it a display name. I'll provide it as watsonx orchestrate installer. And yeah, then there are other options, which is resource. So here we can add the resource. We can add the it as resource template, the one which we have created. It is coming over here. We can add on this. We will select the version of it, v1, that's on, and save it. We don't want to add any other resource, so we will exit from this. There is option to add agents, but we have already added agents. Config context is already added, and other things are done. Schedule we don't want for now. We can save this as a draft. Once this is saved as draft, right, we can see this environment template like this here. And now if I go to the environment section, I'm seeing this environment template here. This is the display name that I provided, watsonx orchestrate installer. I'm seeing it here in the environment as a template. In the environments, we can see watsonx orchestrate installer. I will launch it, provide it a name, by date maybe, and version is good. We will provide it, select a agent from here, and finally click on save and deploy. This will start a pod running in OpenShift, and that will be a containerized pod based on the image that we have provided. Like that, we can see the status here, in progress, and the duration. Also, when we expand this and the first one here, we could see the logs from the OpenShift pod terminal here. I have triggered here in Rafe, right? We can, as I told, it is status we can see from here, logs we can see from here, like it has logged in, and then checking namespace, creating namespace, and other things, right? We are able to see it, or which script it is running. So this is all depending on what all logs we have included in our script. We can see the same job running as a pod here in OpenShift. It will be running in the project that we have created, and if you see here, this run, right, it is running, and if you side it, it is, we can see the same logs that we are seeing there, like here. So yeah, that's how pretty much the installation is working. It will take time. It will take about 4 hours or more than that for the complete process to run and complete. And once it is complete, right, then we'll be able to access the software hub and the orchestrate. We can get the URL for the software hub. So this is the URL. We can copy it from here and simply log in to this. I will select for the OpenShift credentials, continue, and I'm just providing my credentials here, logging in. So here we can see the IBM Software Hub control plane, where we have the two services, watsonx Assistant and Orchestrate, as per the commands and the configuration that we gave for the installation activated in the IBM Software Hub.